Hello peoples, this is me, Sonic72, welcome back to the episode of Random Creepypasta Stories. Now today on Random Creepypasta Stories, we'll be taking a look at this creepypasta called Knob.exe. So without further ado, let's begin. For crying out loud, what's with my family and creepy stuff always happening to us? Oh sorry, let me elaborate. I am Sally Goodman, one of the three Goodman siblings. The other two are John Goodman and Henry Goodman, my brothers. Lately, freaky things have been happening to us. First, John gets haunted by some insane ghost hag, then a freaky mutant girl's face is staring through Henry's living room window. I pray to God that nothing would happen to the third of the Goodman siblings, but nope, something just had to happen to me, because I guess the world hates me. Alright, enough of my self-pity, on with the story. I ain't got all day. Well, I had moved into an apartment in Dayton, Ohio. I was unpacking my things and so forth. There was a small storage room by a patio of the apartment, and I opened the door and put some things in there. It seemed to be empty, and I walked in. Then I looked down the floor and I saw it and I almost stepped on a black USB drive. I picked it up and stuck it in my pocket. I was so curious as to why it was sitting in this storage closet, and also if there was anything on it. I had my laptop with me, so I decided I'd see for myself later on after I unpacked a few more things. Well, later on that day, after I had done all the unpacking for that day, I got my laptop and turned it on. It didn't have an internet connection since I needed to get the Comcast to transfer my cable and phone service over my new home. Just in case there are viruses on the drive, I loaded up Windows XP on a virtual machine. I plugged in the USB drive, and as usual, auto-run thing prompting me with what I wanted to do. I chose to open the folder to view the files. What was in the drive seemed to be files for some kind of game. I ignored those and found the actual game application, which was named Knob.exe. I opened up the file, and a new window opened up. It was the game. It seemed to be some kind of 16-bit platformer. You controlled some stick figure thing and guided him through the levels. There was no title screen or anything. It just went right through the first level. The level was some city streets or something, and you had to avoid traffic to get through the level. The really weird part was every now and then someone walking along would notice a stick figure and scream bloody murder. The stick figure would then proceed to grab the person and strangle them to death. I got through the first few levels, but then I got to the 5th level. Instead of a city street, the stick figure was staying inside a storage room. My heart skipped a beat when I realized where I was. It was a perfect 16-bit replica of the storage room I had found a USB drive in. Without me moving in, the character walked over to the door and opened it. He went outside, and the scene transitioned to another familiar place, the patio just outside my apartment. Out of paranoia, I looked through the glass door leading out to the apartment patio, and to my horror, somebody was there. It was the most disturbing creature I've ever seen. He was completely naked and hunched over like a gorilla. He was horribly skinny and so pale it looked like he'd never even seen the light of day in his life. Black fur grew along his spine. His face, he wore an expression of unspeakable malice and insanity. His mouth was 2 times the size of the normal human's mouth. His teeth were huge, and his evil smile stretched up all the way to his forehead. He had long, black hair that drooped down to his shoulders. He had claws longer than my fingers, and they looked sharp enough to cut my head clean off. Then the thing I dreaded the most happened. He looked at me with his cold, wicked eyes and that horrible smile. I glanced back at my laptop screen for a second. The stick figure in the game was looking into the glass window door, just as the horrible creature was doing. I looked back. The creature was beckoning me over to him with his bony, clawed index finger. The creature in the game was also beckoning. I didn't want to go with this beast. I couldn't, but I had lost control of my body. I got up and walked straight into the clutches of this monster. I tried to turn away, but my body fought back. I opened up the glass window door, and stepped onto the patio. Being close up to this thing was even worse than seeing him from inside my apartment. He held up a map for me to see, and pointed out some directions with his wicked sharp claws. Then he held up that claw to my throat. He sliced. I woke up with a start, sweating and breathing heavily, heart pounding against my ribs like a hammer. It was just a dream. After a while, just sitting there, I calmed down. It seemed I had fallen asleep sometime while playing the game. I guess it made sense. I had been having trouble sleeping the past few nights, and probably tired. I looked at the laptop screen. There was a message saying the game had encountered a problem and needed to close, blah blah blah. I became curious about the directions in my Oh my gosh. I became curious about the directions the creature in the dream had given me. There were real directions to real place. some pond around the area. I decided just for the heck of it, I'd go there tomorrow. I didn't expect to find anything, but it was only a dream, but still. The next day after breakfast, I got out of my car and followed the directions to the pond. I got there and got out of the car. I skipped some rocks and such for a few minutes, not having much of reason to stay. I started to walk back to the car, but then I noticed something on the ground out of my corner of my eye. I stopped. I went to examine it. It was a wooden trap door of some kind. I remembered the nightmare I had and became paranoid. But then I realized how silly I was being. It was just a dream. Nothing bad can really happen. Could really be here, right? There was a handle on the trapdoor that I could lift to open. Cautiously, I grabbed the handle and pulled back to reveal darkness below. I needed a flashlight. I thought I had one in the back of my car. I went to go check, and sure enough, I found one. I turned it on and climbed down into the darkness below. The space was empty, and with nothing but dirt on all sides. But then my flashlight shined on something that made my blood run cold. Something that made me sprint back to the trapdoor, slamming it shut behind me, and back into my car. To drive home and smash the USB drive I had found the day before into tiny pieces, and then burn the pieces. The disturbing part is the hissing sound the drive made when I did this, like some terrible snake. If it was a figure, hunched over like a gorilla, horribly skinny and pale, fur on spine, drooping black hair, insane deformed face. It was a creature from my nightmare, and he was looking right into my eyes. Epilogue. Several signs of horribly mutant humanoid figure wandering the streets of Ohio cities have been reported. The supposed witness described it as being a pale figure hunched over like a gorilla, having black fur along its spine, vicious claws, long black hair, and terribly large mouth, an expression of pure malice and insanity. Some witness reports seeing strange people to death, seemingly at random. It could be easily to dismiss these claims as some sick joke. If it weren't for the sudden and mysterious deaths of several people, every person who died has been identified as being strangled to death. John Goodman says, "Hey Sally, thanks for sending this to me." Sigh. More of this creepy crap. I've never been superstitious, but I'm seriously starting to think we're cursed or something. This chain of freak shows that's been going down lately can't just be dumb luck. Henry Goodman says, "Yeah, we seem to be attracting the paranormal signs, paranormal like magnets. First you, then me, and now Sally. I don't know what's going on, but I hope it ends soon." Anonymous says, "You hope so, huh?" So, this is the end of Creepypasta, and I'm sorry if I, stuttered or messed up like tons of times in the Creepypasta. It's just, I wasn't going to make a video today, but yeah, so I had to make one, and plus my allergies have been killing me all day. It's been taking away my vision, some of my voice, so that's why I've been speaking low through this entire video. So, without me, rambling all about my allergies and how my life sucks right now, so let's get to talk about this Creepypasta. So overall, it's fairly decent. I mean, there are some cliches like the main character finding some kind of random object, like where she moves in or something like that. Like normally most creepypastas do, like, is that the main character finds some kind of mystical thing and it just haunts them. This creepypasta suffers from that, in which I think it could have benefited if the character found the USB drive in by some other means of way, rather than just finding it in the porch or the basement or whatever. And also, it's also kind of like, I also love how in the dream the knob or the creature gave the directions to a real life place only in the dream, and then when she went there she found something there. I found it kind of cool. It's just that, my only real gripe is just what I was talking about how she found the USB drive. And also I like how it had the epilogue, because most creepypastas don't seem to do that. So yeah, I'm sorry if this episode really sucked. It's just my throat and my voice. So people, if you like what's here, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. I will see you guys next episode, or whatever I do next. So peace out, peoples, and bye-bye.